The NFL playoffs are for the best teams in the league to compete for the Super Bowl. These teams typically consist of a roster that has numerous Pro Bowlers, a star quarterback, and a track record of previous success. A team that will possibly stay strong for years and hunt their division rivals. Well, at least that's what usually happens. But sometimes things happen that are unusual. And somewhere down that line, you get the 1998 Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals are not the most prestigious team in football, as they have seen little success. Their two championships came in 1925 and 1947, when the team was based in Chicago. Going into 1998, the team hadn't seen a playoff in 16 years, reaching it in a strike-shortened 1982 season. Even worse, the Cardinals hadn't seen a winning season in 14 years. Throughout most of the 90s, the Cardinals were a disaster. The team struggled to win games and find a quarterback that they were comfortable with. From 1990 to 1996, the Cardinals went through 7 starting quarterbacks. In 1996, they got Boomer Esiason in free agency, but he would only play for 1 season. In 1997, the Cardinals would name rookie Jake Plummer the starting quarterback, and he was lucky enough to stick around into 98. The only consistent, reliable player on the team up until that point was Hall of Fame corner Aeneas Williams. After going 4-12 and finishing last place in the NFC East in 97, the Cardinals were not considered a playoff contender going into 98. Their draft was nothing crazy, picking defensive end Andre Wadsworth in the first round, who would only go on to play 3 seasons in the NFL. The only other rookie who was named a starter aside from Wadsworth was Pat Tillman, who started 10 games at free safety. The Cardinals' 1998 season kicked off at Texas Stadium, where they took on the Dallas Cowboys. The Cardinals would only go on to score 10 points after a field goal and a Jake Plummer quarterback sneak. Plummer would go 14 for 33 with 166 yards with no passing touchdowns or interceptions. The Cardinals struggled to get a first down, going 0-10 in third down conversions. They would be blown out by a score of 38-10. Week 2 would follow a similar pattern after the Cardinals would be beaten by the Seahawks by a score of 33-14. Plummer would go 22 for 36 with 204 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. He would be sacked 7 times. By week 3, the Cardinals managed to get a win over the Philadelphia Eagles, though it was nothing to marvel over, as both teams didn't score until the 4th quarter. For the next several games, the Cardinals had on and off success. Their schedule seemingly worked in their favor, ranging from teams in playoff contention to teams just struggling to play football. In games against teams that were in playoff contention, the Cardinals performed poorly. In week 7 against the eventual 8-8 Giants, the Cardinals got ran over, losing 34-7 in a game where they allowed 3 turnovers. In facing teams that struggled to compete, the Cardinals just narrowly found victory, their Week 9 game against the 5-11 Lions being an example, after they won 17-15, despite the Lions turning the ball over 7 times. In Week 11, the Cardinals took on the Dallas Cowboys again, but this time at home. In the first half, it was looking as if the Cardinals were going to be blown out again, losing 28-7 going into halftime. Coming out of the half, the Cardinals looked to turn things around, putting up 21 more points after a fantastic performance by Jake Plummer. The Cardinals would end up losing 35-28, but Plummer would go 31 for 56 with 456 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception against an elite Cowboys defense. The potential of Jake Plummer was seen after that Week 11 game. For the final 3 games in the Cardinals season, they just barely got by 3 teams with losing records. In Week 15, they beat the 3-10 Eagles in overtime by a score of 20-17 after a game-winning field goal. In Week 16, they beat the 6-9 Saints after a game-winning field goal in the exact same situation, this time beating 5-11 Chargers after a game-winning field goal with 3 seconds left. By some miracle, the Arizona Cardinals clinched the wild card after finishing the regular season with a 9-7 record. Their 9 wins came against teams that finished with losing records. That's right, the 1998 Arizona Cardinals didn't beat a single team with a winning record in the regular season. The crazy season that the Cardinals had was fun to watch, but in the eyes of most, was going to end in the regular season. No one believed that the Cardinals had what it takes to win in the playoffs, especially since their first playoff game was against a team that they lost to twice in the regular season, a team filled with Hall of Famers, the Dallas Cowboys. On January 2, 1999, the Arizona Cardinals took on the Dallas Cowboys in an NFC wildcard game in Texas. In the first half, the Cardinals' defense showed up. They they were able to stop Troy Aikman from doing little to nothing passing the ball, though his passing accuracy was questionable. He was picked off by Aeneas Williams in the second, and Aikman grew frustrated. The Cardinal offense was nothing impressive, though Jake Plummer did have a few nice finesse throws, including a shovel pass to Adrian Morrell for a touchdown. Going into the half, the Cardinals led 10-0. The Cardinals received the ball after the half, and on the second play, Morrell ran 74 yards before being tackled on the 3-yard line. They immediately took advantage of the situation after Plummer threw a 3-yard touchdown pass to Larry Centers. Quickly, the Cardinals were up 17-0. After being down 17, the Cowboys were in shock and did little else in the game. Aikman would throw one touchdown pass, though he would also throw 2 more interceptions. The Cardinals would beat the Cowboys in an upset victory, 20-7. It would be Arizona's first playoff win since 1947. 8 days later, the Arizona Cardinals would find themselves in the divisional round against arguably the best team in football, the 15-1 Minnesota Vikings. The magic that the Cardinals had against the Cowboys ended that game, as Arizona would succumb to a loss in the Metrodome, losing 24-7 in the half. Jake Plummer couldn't find the end zone, going 23 for 41 with 243 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. The Viking offense, led by Randall Cunningham, Chris Carter, and Randy Moss, proved to be too difficult for the Cardinals, and their crazy season would end. The 1998 Arizona Cardinals were a wild team, so wild that they were nicknamed the Wild Cards. The Cardinals would not see another playoff for 10 years, reaching the Super Bowl in 2008 with an unbelievable team and an unbelievable quarterback. While the Cardinals have had very little success in their franchise history, the 1998 team sticks out as a success, though many probably didn't think it would be. They were truly the underdogs. They were the Wild Cards.